Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know our mission. We take interesting sources, cut through the clutter, and give you the core ideas.
And today, well, we're digging into Chris Bailey's The Productivity Project. It's based on this really intense analysis of his own year-long experiment.
Yeah, it's quite the story. He didn't just read about productivity. He actually turned down job offers back in 2014.
Right, fresh out of college, and he decides to dedicate a whole year to being his own, guinea pig for productivity.
I just love the sheer nerve of it. A Canadian grad turning himself into a walking experiment. He ran, what, 25 different tests?
Something like that, yeah. Everything from sleeping exactly 8 hours to, well, deliberately procrastinating. Purposefully.
That one's my favorite. Purposeful procrastination. It sounds like an oxymoron, but we'll get into that. He basically made his life a lab report.
Exactly. And what makes it powerful is that he wasn't just journaling, He tracked data meticulously.
Yeah.
And he pulled in actual studies from neuroscience, cognitive psychology, backing up what he was experiencing. So it's not just fluff, it's quantifiable.
Okay, so before we jump into all the hacks and experiments, we really need to nail down his definition of productivity because, honestly, I usually just think it means getting more stuff done in less time.
Well, Bailey flips that script. He says, look, it's not just about hours or volume. Productivity for him is managing three things together: time, attention, and energy.
Time, attention, energy, okay.
Yeah, and he found most of us, we really only focus on the time part. We ignore the other two pillars, which are actually, where the real gains are.
And that leads straight to this, frankly, kind of scary statistic he found.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
Based on his experiments, the average person spends only 40% of their day doing stuff that actually matters. High-impact work.
Just 40%? Think about that. That leaves 60% of the day. Where does it go?
Exactly. Distractions, busy work, is feeling drained.
That's the 60% deficit right there. So our goal today really is to unpack Bailey's ideas on how to shrink that gap, how you can potentially get, say, 20–30% more effective.
And crucially, without just working longer hours, using smarts, not just more grind.
Precisely. It's about working smarter.
All right, let's start where Bailey says it all begins, the foundation. And it's maybe not what people expect. Energy.
Yes. Energy. This was, I think, one of his biggest takeaways. He argues that a whopping 50% of our productivity potential comes down to energy management.
50%, wow. Not time, not focus.
Well, they matter, of course, but think of it like this. Time is the container you have. Attention is how you direct your focus within that container. But energy, that's the fuel.
Okay.
If that fuel tank is empty, it doesn't matter how much time you have or how hard you try to focus, the quality just won't be there.
Right.
It's like energy multiplies the other two. If energy is zero,
then productivity is zero. That actually makes me feel a bit better about my 3 p.m. slump.
Exactly. It's not just you being lazy. It's a real biological thing.
There's science behind this, right?
Oh, absolutely. You look at studies like from the American Psychological Association. They show cognitive fatigue is a real performance killer. After midday, efficiency can drop by 20, even 30%.
So trying to push through really complex work when you're feeling drained is just fighting biology.
You're essentially paying a huge biological tax. You're making it way harder than it needs to be.
So the strategy isn't willpower, it's timing.
Yes, strategic timing. The key action here is figuring out your personal energy peaks. Are you sharpest first thing in the morning? Late morning, maybe you get a second wind in the evening.
I think I know mine. Mostly.
Well, you need to really know it. Track it for a few days, and once you identify that prime window, you protect it fiercely. That's when you schedule your hardest stuff, the real brain busters, your boss tasks, as he calls them.
Okay, but here's the tricky part. What about the 9-to-5 reality? Fixed schedules, random meetings plopped right in your peak energy time. How do you protect that window then?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the main friction point. Bailey talks about, well, learning to say no sometimes, which we'll touch on later, but also structure within the structure. Meaning, even within a fixed workday, your energy isn't constant. It naturally ebbs and flows in roughly 90-minute cycles, ultradian rhythms.
Ah, right. I've heard of those.
So the advice is to work in focus bursts, like 90-minute sprints, then take a real break, even just 10 minutes away from the screen. Step away, recharge slightly. It respects your biology, even if the office clock keeps ticking.
Okay, energy is the fuel. Now let's talk time and attention. These feel like the ones constantly under attack in modern life, the saboteurs.
Definitely. Bailey put numbers on just how much time we lose. The big one, digital distractions.
I tread this number. How bad is it?
He calculated the average person loses 2.1 hours every single day.
2.1 hours. Just poof, To what? Checking phones, notifications, switching between apps.
Pretty much. Habitual scrolling, email alerts, bouncing between 10 different browser tabs. It adds up incredibly fast. And the real killer isn't just the time spent on the distraction.
It's the recovery time, right? The interruption tax.
Exactly, the famous interruption tax. There's a UC Irvine study he often mentions. It found that after you get interrupted, even by something quick like a text message buzz, it takes about 23 minutes to get back to that same deep level of focus you had before.
23 minutes. Okay, wait. Let's do the math on that, like you said.
Yeah.
If I get interrupted, say, 4 times in an hour, does that mean I'm actually achieving negative productivity? Because those 23-minute recovery times just keep stacking up, and I never actually get into that deep work zone.
That's a perfect way to think about it. You're constantly trying to climb back up the focus hill, but keep getting knocked back down before you reach the summit.
Depressing. So what's the fix? Bailey must have had one.
He did. His main weapon against this digital chaos, he hilariously called his inbox the digital black hole, is batch processing.
Batch processing, like doing similar tasks all at once.
Exactly. For things like email, instead of reacting to every single notification chime.
Which is constant.
Right. You designate specific protected blocks of time, maybe 2 or 3 30-minute slots per day just for email. And outside those blocks, you ignore it completely.
Ooh, that takes discipline.
Yeah.
Especially when people expect instant replies.
It does. But the payoff is huge because you reclaim those 23-minute chunks of lost focus. It frees up serious mental bandwidth.
This sounds like it connects to his idea of intentional productivity. Doing less, but better.
Precisely. Which brings us to the rule of 3.
Ah, yes, the rule of 3. Tell us about that.
It's beautifully simple, really. Instead of writing down that massive, overwhelming to-do list first thing in the morning.
Which just makes you feel defeated before you start.
Totally. You intentionally select just 3 really important tasks for the whole day. 3 key things that if you get them done, you can honestly say it was a productive day.
So it forces you to identify what really matters versus just being busy.
Exactly. It cuts through the noise of easy, low-value tasks that fill time but don't move the needle.
And the enemy of that kind of focus is multitasking.
Yeah.
Bailey really went after the myth that juggling saves time, didn't he?
Oh, he demolished it. He calls multitasking the ultimate attention tax. There's research, again from University of California, suggesting that constantly splitting your focus can temporarily drop your effective IQ by as much as 10 points.
10 points? Seriously?
Yeah.
So you're literally making yourself dumber trying to do too many things at once.
In a functional sense, yes. You're operating at a lower cognitive capacity, all in the name of efficiency that isn't actually efficient at all.
Wow. Okay. So eliminate distractions, batch tasks, focus on 3 key things. What about just cutting stuff out entirely? He did that week of denial thing, right?
They did. Just said no to almost everything for a week. It was an extreme test, obviously.
But what was the lesson? Did it prove that 80-20 rule?
Absolutely. It vividly demonstrated the Pareto principle, that roughly 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. The experiment forced him to identify those vital few activities.
What kind of things did he find were easiest to cut? The low-value stuff.
Yeah, things like recurring meetings that didn't really accomplish much, or endless email chains that just created an illusion of work. Cutting those out instantly freed up huge chunks of time and, importantly, mental energy for those rule of 3 tasks.
Like that energy component again.
And thinking about focus from the brain's perspective, it's actually good for it.
How so?
Well, neuroscientists, people like Daniel Kahneman even, point out that sustained, deep focus activates your prefrontal cortex. That's your command center for complex thinking, problem-solving, decision-making.
So practicing focus actually makes you smarter, or at least better at making decisions.
It seems like it boosts your decision-making capacity, maybe by as much as 25%. So being productive isn't just about churning out more stuff. It's about improving the quality of your thinking and your choices.
Okay, we've hit energy, time, and attention. Let's wrap up with what feels like Bailey's secret sauce. How we optimized rest and even turned procrastination into a tool.
Right. Procrastination, usually seen as the ultimate productivity sin, isn't it?
Totally. But he experimented with using it deliberately.
What?
How does that even work?
Well, most of us, when we procrastinate, we just, scroll social media or worry about the task we're avoiding. Bailey tried deliberate procrastination.
Meaning,
if he was stuck on a really complex problem, instead of staring blankly at it, he'd consciously put it aside, let his subconscious chew on it. He called it mental incubation.
Ah, like letting ideas simmer on the back burner.
Exactly. And he found that often when he came back to it later, he'd have fresh insights or creative solutions that just weren't there before.
So the actionable takeaway isn't procrastinate more. It's
Right.
if you're stuck, take a specific kind of break.
Sort of. He recommended dedicating maybe 20 minutes a day to just playtime. Step away from the hard problem, do something completely unrelated, low pressure, let your mind wander without guilt.
Does that actually help? Is there research on that?
There is, yeah. Studies, like in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, suggest that this kind of mental break, this incubation period, can boost creative problem solving by about 15–20%.
Interesting. So you're kind of outsourcing the hard thinking to your background mental processes.
Pretty much. While you consciously rest or maybe tackle a different, easier task.
Okay, and speaking of rest, we have to circle back to sleep. Bailey was apparently a stickler for getting enough, like 8+ hours.
Non-negotiable for him, it seems, and the science backs him up completely. If there's one takeaway from all this, honestly, it might be prioritize your sleep.
It makes that big a difference.
Huge. There's a massive meta-analysis, often cited by sleep experts like Matthew Walker. It found that consistently getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night slashes your overall productivity potential by about 19%.
19%, just from losing an hour or two of sleep.
Yep. It's arguably the single biggest hit you can take to that crucial 50% energy pillar we talked about. You simply cannot perform at your peak if you're sleep deprived.
Okay, message received on sleep. What else did he integrate? Exercise, mindfulness.
Both. He found regular aerobic exercise was a significant booster, maybe adding another 15% to productivity. Again, it's not just physical, it's about cognitive stamina.
Right, keeping the brain fueled and focused.
And mindfulness or short meditation breaks. Those help strengthen the focus muscle, making it easier to resist those digital distractions and stay in the zone.
So let's tie this all together. What's the big picture for someone listening right now? This whole productivity project year. It wasn't just about finding tricks, was it?
No, not at all. It was fundamentally about shifting your mindset, treating your own productivity as something you can actively experiment with and improve, just like he did.
Like becoming your own researcher.
Exactly. The core takeaway is seeing how time, attention, and energy all work together. You can't just optimize one. Perfect time blocking means nothing if you're exhausted from poor sleep.
Or if your attention is constantly fractured by notifications. You stay stuck in that 40% zone of actual effectiveness.
Right. So the goal isn't to copy Bailey's experiments exactly, but to adopt his approach. Make your own personal productivity project. Try batch processing for a week. Track your energy peaks. See what happens. Measure it.
And the promise is, if you apply that kind of intelligent experimentation,
you really can become that 20–30% more effective, like we mentioned at the start. And again, the key is doing it without just piling on more work hours.
Okay, so we want you, the listener, to actually do something with this, not just nod along.
Right. Let's make it practical. We've got 2 specific challenges for you, inspired by Bailey's methods. Try one for the next 7 days.
All right, challenge number 1, the energy challenge. For the next 3 days, consciously track your energy levels. Notice when you feel sharpest, most focused. Then for the rest of the week, schedule your single most important, most demanding task, your boss task, right into that peak window. And protect that time. No meetings, no interruptions if you can help it.
Or you could try challenge number 2, the focus challenge. Commit to 1 solid hour of deep work every single day for the next week, just 60 minutes. But during that hour, absolutely 0 distractions. Turn off notifications, close email, no phone nearby, just pure focused effort on one of your top 3 important tasks.
Choose one, energy or focus. See what happens.
And the final thought you want to leave you with, really stemming from Bailey's whole project, is this.
Go on.
If the average person truly wastes around 60% of their workday on low-impact stuff, distractions, inefficiencies, what could you achieve if you consistently reclaimed even just a quarter of that lost time and energy?
Like a specific goal, financial, learning something new, a side project.
Exactly. What tangible thing becomes possible when you stop leaking so much potential? That's the real power here.
Food for thought. Okay, that's our deep dive for today.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next time on the Deep Dive.